Hi, Dr. Marcia here in another of my Moving into Autumn with Good Self-Care video series. And today I want to talk about malaise. I was joking with somebody the other day, and we were talking about how we're starting to both feel a little bit of COVID fatigue, right? And really what I was talking about is how a lot of us are feeling this vague sense of malaise these days. And the dictionary defines malaise as a sense of discomfort, illness, or unease whose exact reason is difficult to identify. But we do have a reason to identify, which is that we are under all these restrictions because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But still, we can have this feeling of malaise, this kind of general feeling of not quite feeling comfortable in our own skin, not quite feeling right about anything these days. And I was talking to somebody else who says that, some days she wakes up and she feels just fine, and then another day she'll wake up and she'll feel kind of blah, and then, maybe it'll pass in a couple of hours, maybe it'll last a couple of days, and she's just kind of going up and down. And this is not a person who's prone to anxiety or depression, it's just that it's hard these days. It's hard with the pandemic, it's hard with the restrictions, it's hard with the isolation, and it's hard with the stress because so many people are under different kinds of stress: financial stress, health stress, perhaps they're grieving the loss of loved ones, perhaps they've been sick or they're afraid of getting sick. There's a lot of different stresses. There's stress about, going outside and encountering people who might put you at risk. There's stress about going to work and wondering if your workplace is actually safe and following all the guidelines. So there's a lot of stress that we're under, and stress can lead to this feeling of malaise, which is just this kind of not feeling quite right in our own skin. So what do we do about malaise when we're feeling it? Because if we are feeling it, we're going to be noticing that just don't feel quite right these days. Well, it's so important that we tune into ourselves. We can't just walk around with malaise and ignore it or pretend it'll go away or hope that it'll go away, because it won't go away on its own. Mental health issues, even minor ones like a feeling of malaise, need to be dealt with so that we can get on with our lives and start to feel better. So the first thing we need to do is take some time to just ask ourselves, is there something in particular that's bothering me these days, right? Is it something specific, or is it just this general kind of sense of, ugh, it's not so great? Because there might be something in particular. There might be one specific stress that's really getting to you that you might want to really deal with more effectively so that it doesn't get to you as much. Or maybe it's just a general feeling. And the other thing, once you've figured out what it is that's bothering you, the other thing you need to do is you need to actually deal with it. So if it's a relationship that's bothering you, you want to address the relationship. If it's your workplace that's bothering you, you want to deal with whatever's going on in the workplace. And if it's just this sort of general feeling, maybe you want to just talk about it with somebody, maybe a counselor or a therapist or a clergy person, someone that you can just sort of vent a little bit and say, I'm just feeling kind of crummy. Or even call up a really close friend that you've been having these kinds of conversations with and say, I'm having a hard time. And after a conversation, you're likely to feel a lot better. Now, you might get another wave of malaise in a week or two, and then again, call up the friend and say, hey, how are you doing? Let's talk some more. And maybe that's all that you need, but you need to do something. You can't just think that it will go away on its own, because this is a long pandemic. We've been in it for over 7 months. Who knows how long it's going to go on for. And we need to make sure that we take care of our mental health, because mental health is so important in terms of our well-being and in terms of our decision making. And what I've noticed is that when we're not feeling well, we don't make the best decisions for our physical health. So we want to address our malaise, because when we are dealing with our feelings of malaise, it's much more likely that we'll take the best possible care of ourselves physically as well as emotionally, and that will protect us from getting sick and keep us safe during this pandemic. So please stay tuned for more of my Moving into Autumn with Good Self-Care video series. And please stay safe, stay smart, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll talk to you very soon.